And so are you. It has been a crazy couple of forever for all of us. There's been a lot of things coming in. Many people have been reporting really kind of struggling right now. And so I kind of thought we should address that. Man, my lighting looks weird. I look like I'm like really tired. um, there's been so much going on with the planet. I know that there's like 13 solar flares reported that are just about to leave the sun. They haven't left yet, or at least last I looked. Earthquakes and volcanoes and crazy weather and ice and freezing temperatures, un commonly cold. I know, but here where I am, here in Arkansas, it's unseasonably freezing, and so there's just a lot of stuff about that. There's one thing about this weather stuff that might be of assistance people to know about is that, so I don't know how many of you have been following me for a while, but there was this download about this big bubble that was over the Arctic. It looked like a bubble, I don't energetically, and it started to destabilize. And I didn't know what it was or why it was important to talk about, so I started to tell people about it. Um, I believe this was in February. I can't recall for sure, and it did. So the big bubble, it turns out it really was a thing. They called it vortexes, I think. It became two, and then it popped off kind of and created this ancient Arctic wind air kind of like flooding the nation. So the east side of the country, and mid the what's it called? What is the middle of America called? I can't remember right now. Anyway, becoming incredibly cold for unseasonably cold. And so, what's cool about this? Is cool is that there's a lot of code in this air. This is 4 decades worth of air. That's what the download was about. So I have nothing to show for you to go and look at to cite the source. This is what the download was for me, and then now it's happening in real time. I was told about this as a sign to look for, as something cool, something awesome. This was like it's like a road sign of like, hey, we're here. And so that's really, for me, a very validating and exciting thing. However unpleasant it may feel on the body being as cold as we are, there's some ancient code on this Arctic air that's just kind of flooding the country and the world. It's not just this country. It's not just the U.S. Thank you, the Midwest. Thank you, Trina. Hello, Trina. Good to see you. Thank you for your input. Yeah, the Midwest. People used to think that when they came to Utah, they were in the Midwest. I thought that was really funny. I'm like, no, you're still on the West Coast. Let's say hi to everybody. Genevieve is here. Hello, sweetie. I haven't seen you for a little while. How are you? And then we have Mariette's here. Hello. Hi, everybody. The energies are intense. I've got the flu and feeling miserable. So also because all kind of, excuse me, let me say that again. Also because of all kind of uh, quilty feelings about guilty feelings about the way I live my life. I know it's all purification process, but heavy. Hey, thank you so much for saying this, Mariette. I don't know if I'm saying your name right, Mariette. It seems, but you have those two cool things above your E there. Let's talk about this because this is coming up for everybody in some way. Is specifically this guilty stuff, this stuff, shame, these types of things, kind of feeling a lot of low self-worth kind of talk popping up, a lot of self-judgment, a lot of like putting self down and looking at these old patterns. So the reason that it's coming up is not for us to feel any kind of unpleasant or unkind way. I just looked up and we'd been going for 4 minutes and 44 seconds, and there's 44 people here. These fours are unstoppable, and it's 202. That's four as well. Is that all these things are coming up for us to look at. I know I've been talking about this for a while, though it's getting more and more. It's like coming up more and more for people. What is this stuff? Why are these things coming in? It's to do with the things that we've not looked at before, the things that we've kind of shoved away. Some people call it inner child. Some people call it inner child work. Some people call it shadow work. These parts of us that we have kind of edited off or like chosen against accepting as being part of who we are as our whole person that we are. Sometimes it's to do with family, parents, teachers, whatever. There's somebody outside that says, you know, passes a judgment. You shouldn't do that, or you shouldn't be that way, or that's not desirable. So we'll push that away and hide it away, and it doesn't go anywhere. It's then imprisoned. This is very real part of who you are, who I am, who we all are, that's been tucked away. And yeah, there may be parts of it that aren't the most fun to look at, but it's been there so long that it's taken on all of this dialogue that we've given it. This, you're not good enough, or you're not worthy of being present, these types of things. You know, no one's suggesting that, for instance, I'm not going to go and oh wow, the snowflakes are actually getting bigger, so it's warming up. That's a good sign. We were just getting powder forever. Anyway, and so these things come in with all of this low self-talk, low self-worth talk. And so you start to hear it echoing back to yourself. You start to hear these types of things. How do we solve this? Look at it. Allow it to be there. And not to say I'm absorbing or taking on this thing. I'm not saying, okay, for now on, I'm going to be somebody who does X, Y, Z. It's simply, now this is part of me. I love you. I love all of what you are and who you are. And the message has always been to acknowledge it without judgment and to release it with love. Without judgment means to not decide something about a thing, you know, and this isn't even to do simply with if it's good or bad. It's also like, is it red or is it blue? You know, is it wet or dry? I don't know. You know, any kind of decision. When we decide a thing about a thing, we're judging it. And I didn't know this until a few years ago. However, when we judge something, we're holding it in place. We are saying, you're not going anywhere. I'm your new prison guard. I'm your new warden, and you're staying here for a while, you know. And so allowing yourself to see these things for what they are, and then to just let them go. A lot of us don't know what we're looking at, you know, and we want to, again, decipher what it is. And so we'll start to, you know, this is me now, I'm going to take on this new label, or something like that. And that's counterproductive. It's simply, it is. Now what? Well, there's parts of me who in the past have held really strong judgment against myself too. So what I've done is simply been in the energy of it. Allow myself to cry, even be angry. Allow myself to be whatever it is that comes up. Okay. And so it is part of the purification process. It is part of accepting the shadow. The word shadow came from Freud, who is definitely from a long time ago, and a different way of looking at these things. Shadow, I wouldn't use that word, because a shadow implies it's bad. It's not. It's you. And all of who you are is exactly perfect. Everything that you are is perfect and beautiful, you know. And for instance, the little child that you're finding that seems to be a bully. Let's use this example, you know, and all that child really needs is to be seen, to be loved, and to be accepted. And then all of a sudden, that bully child is, you know, serving others, is love, is happy, is enjoy, is able to play. Once we are able to play in whatever sandbox we find ourselves in, then we find that there is no, what is the right word? Conflict. There is nothing to solve. So I don't know if that helps at all. This is a big deal right now because everyone seems to be going through this. Some people are experiencing it through tragedy, through trauma, through something's happening outside of them. I have had a lot of individuals who've reached out recently who there's family members who are ill or have passed, and these types of things that are coming up to kind of trigger this emotional response for us, so we can start to cry, so we can start to let ourselves feel, so um along with what the other part of your comment, Mariette, is that the flu stuff, a lot of people are feeling this. See, as above so below, so a lot of times it manifests through physical symptoms. And there's a lot of purging that we're also going through simultaneously, purging of things that we would call uh, toxins or parasites or whatever. It's something that does the physical vessel. Um, I don't know if you all are aware. I mean, I know that we all feel and sense what's going on. 1111 is that we are all going through. We've just recently done some type of a shift. Well, everyone's experiencing it differently, and some are feeling it, and it's very disruptive kind of a feeling. And there is a quake sensation when you start leaving one campus, graduating from, let's say, elementary, and moving into the next place. You're going to be disoriented. You're going to not know where to put your bags and where to go and those types of things. That kind of sensation's happening for a lot of individuals right now because we are. We're in a different plane. We've been slowly moving into this and slowly shifting. And then it's just like you're preparing for that new school, and then all of a sudden now it's day one, and so then there's this quake. And so we really are, we're on a new plane right now, and I know a lot of you know this and have understood this and have taken that in. So knowing that we're all new in this play box, we're all new in this sandbox, this playground, and so we're all kind of figuring out what to do. And so allowing yourself the same kind of consideration that you would all of your peers, knowing that it's okay that you don't know all the answers to any of the questions. I don't. The best and the most effective way of being in this experience is staying in the moment that you're in, staying in this moment. And this moment sometimes brings in some of this stuff that we call past, but we're not fantasizing or projecting or pulling and moving our energy around. We're recollecting our energy, or recalling our energy and pulling it back into self. And so this can really help a lot as we're purging in a physical way. Allow yourself. Right now our bodies need a lot more things like water, um, need a lot more pampering, whatever pampering means to you. I know some people, they go and they get their nails done. I've not been that person ever in this lifetime. Um, Pampering for me is getting to not have to be around other people for a length of time. And the longer I can be on my own and away from other energies, the more that I'm filled up. And so that's my way of pampering myself. Some people's pampering of self is even going out to the bar or meeting up with friends or whatever. Allow yourself to celebrate. We're in a celebration time. It's amazing. So we got a lot going on. I saw someone talk about the Schumann resonance. I can't remember how, there we go. Spiritual warrior, thank you for mentioning the Schumann is popping today, and the wind is insane. It is so insane. My goodness, this wind that we're getting. We have some pipes frozen here. I've heard people talking about their power getting knocked out. There's a lot of stuff. The winds of change are moving. This wind is coming from this Arctic place. It was like a dome. It was a spiritual, energetic dome. And again, I know that I started early today, so some of you might not have heard me talking about this, but I was getting this download back in February. And I started telling everybody about it. I'm like, there's this thing happening. And it didn't actually really occur. And so I was like, okay, it's happening. It just happened. So what happened was there's this dome of, I would call it a spiritual dome because it's just, and what had happened, it became destabilized. What they said, what it had been 40 years that this dome had been keeping this energy, this wind in place over the Arctic. And then in the vision that they gave me was it destabilized, and then half of it flooded down the East Coast and then went through. So what just happened was this vortex of wind that had been keeping all of this Arctic air there destabilized and became two. And then these vortices, one of them spilled through with this freezing cold. And so we're getting it. We're getting it all over the country and the world. So there's a lot coming in. Vicki says that there's that she had the same thing as Mariette did, or is having with the flu. It's been a rough 2 weeks. So a lot of flu-like sensations have been reported that doesn't feel quite like the flu. It's just flu-like. Like there's a lot more tiredness. I know that I slept for 11 hours the other night. I could not believe it. I'm not that person. I get 2 to 4 hours of sleep on a regular basis, and I have since 2007 at least. So I had a really big a reawakening period in 2007 as well. So a lot of us had a lot of different awakening periods. Hi, Jeanette. Mila, yesterday felt so weird, like I was off or some clearing of crazy intensity. Cried all day. The loneliness was off the charts. It was not comfortable. Better today. I'm glad that you're feeling better today. This is something that a lot of people are having, and it's like this. So know that if you're in it now, it's short-lived. It does feel like, oh no, I'm here again when we go back into it. Please be reassured that it's like this. This is what we're doing. And it's like we're picking up the pieces that we left behind, taking a breath and doing it again. So we're going like this. When it comes to this feeling alone, let's talk about this too, because this is a download that just wouldn't stop for days, the past 3 days maybe, is a lot of people. I woke up on Thursday and was like, I don't feel a lot of people here anymore on the planet, because like you all, I'm an empath too, and I feel everybody. I can choose to feel as far as I want, just like you all can. And I always, when I wake up, I don't usually have my controls on, so I don't have my barriers or whatever. And I woke up and I felt like, wow, it feels kind of like ghost towny out there. And then I heard a lot of people who went out into the world felt that or noticed that there weren't hardly any there wasn't any traffic, there weren't people at their regular places and things like this. Anyway, this is a physical manifestation of what we're talking about here, and this loneliness, this separation feeling is called a respite. Remember, now we're in January, we're started over again, and so now we're getting back into that. A lot of you are just like me, where you feel it in the end of January, and really the bulk of it really starts in February and just amps up even more. Like Lionsgate, a lot of us understand Lionsgate, and we'll feel Lionsgate for a week or 5 weeks or more before the 8/8 portal arrives. Well, the same thing happens for this March window. And so we start to this is the part where you're like tidying up the stuff, cleaning up, little spring cleaning kind of stuff. And so the respite is when you're separated in a constant stream from the energies around us, because we're not meant to always feel each other. When we're meant to do this kind of work, we're meant to focus on self and deal with our own garbage, or our own baggage is a better way to say it, because it's not garbage. Then we are given the gift of respite, and that's like, so this is you, and there's like this, cutting the cords in all directions, and then you get to choose which cords, because we have these communication cords energetically with everybody that we communicate with. You can cut these cords and then reset, and then you get to choose with proper intention who you're going to have these connections with. I've been very blessed to been working on that already. I think probably because I was just expecting it, or who knows. But so we're here knowing that you're not alone. You are still connected to all of your guides, to spirit, to source, to God, to the universe, to everybody. It's simply hanging up the phone. They're still there. They're still on the other, they still have their phone. You're simply just not talking to them in this energetic way. It's a gift. So what do we do in this quiet? We focus on self. A lot of people have, I'm going to clear this so you can see. A lot of people have, so this is our breastplate. This is an important sacred plate. This is to get it off your plate. Your plates, you have too much on your plate. You need to get it off your chest, express, right? To express is to purge, is to let something go. This area here, it actually has sacred geometry written on it. It's really cool. It's light. The drawing on it, it's like you can see through it. It's light though, and it's really cool, and it moves and everything. A lot of us at that, when we went to the Solargy Festival, we hugged, we saw the sacred geometry moving, and in a bigger way. Well, that was our heart centers connecting. So we pile things on top of this, which is things that we're struggling to forgive ourselves about. We get hung up on this word, forgiveness. To forgive is simply to not have judgment, right? That's a lot more difficult for many of us to do at first, and so as we start to practice this, so we use the word, we use forgiveness and that word to find resources. We find ways to address these things. Forgiveness of self is due to how many times we've forgiven someone else and taken on responsibility, taken on but what's a better responsibility, right? Taken on we're the ones that did this thing, like, so that person may have done something that was unkind or something, and then it affected us in some way. And so by forgiving them, we say, okay, well, I shouldn't have, or I didn't do, or whatever. And that may have been completely true. However, that's the part that we don't often remember to say, but that's okay, because I'm human and I'm Pamela and I'm going to do this. And I'm going to be, not perfect, because being perfect is being perfect. Being imperfect is being perfect, rather. And so being okay with that and saying to yourself, when these things come up, like we brought up earlier, I'm sorry, I can't remember who it was. I think it was Mariette. These things pop up. Say it truly to yourself. I'll do this. I'll say it. I forgive you, Mila. I love you, Mila. As those things came up. And I found that I was then able to release them one thing at a time. And sometimes it's a whole bunch of stuff, so just keeping this in mind as these things come up really, really do help us. Hello, Sarah. You were in my dream last night. Oh, really? I had some crazy stuff going on. I was in a council meeting for most of the sleep time last night. So that would definitely make sense. There's a lot of us meeting in council when we're in this energy body and sleep time. Vegan Vixen, hey, all. Love to you all. I love you. Oh, it's so cool to see all of you. Leona says, lovely to catch you live, Mila. Love and blessings to you and all on chat from Australia. Welcome. Good to see you. Vegan Vixen says, sick of feeling sick, fed up with being fed up, and tired of being tired. Yeah. See, it takes us getting to that point. Thank you for highlighting that. It takes us to getting to that point before we actually tend to really do something about it. Because we're doing all these other things that are prescribed or taught to us from those around us that aren't always as effective as they can be. And when we finally are just done is when we release it, because that's what we actually need to do. We don't need to grab it and decide and put it someplace and give it a label and label ourselves and all that stuff that we tend to do. It just needs to be acknowledged. You're real. You happen. Same with our trauma. This trauma is coming up. Sometimes some of these individuals I've been talking to lately too, who've never been diagnosed with anything like PTSD, or having PTSD-like experience. It's like flashbacks. They're having these moments popping up here and here and here, and they're popping up so they can go. They're not popping up so we can, be tortured by them or have to fit them into our world somehow. They just need to be felt through, like, hey, it's 222, felt through 222 and 102. Would they need to be experienced, and it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. Not that your experience and how you feel doesn't matter, but it does not matter what it is or wasn't. It was. It happened. It really happened. And there's nothing that we can do to change it. Now that you know there's nothing that you can do to change it, now what? Let it go. Let it be felt. Let it go. And sometimes it means that you're crying, ugly crying, and snot bubbles and can't breathe. And sometimes it's breaking furniture, sometimes whatever. There are junkyards you can pay them for an hour, and you get a bat or a crowbar or something. You beat up cars. I used to go to the driving range and just hit a whole bucket of balls, or go to the batting cages and just get it out. This is something else that's really important that I should highlight right now too, is this is a download I've been getting for a while. And then beautiful Sharmini sent me a text and validated this download that I was getting while I was waking this morning. Move your body, dude. A lot of us are cold. And so we're like huddled up in a corner someplace. And so it feels like a little bit opposite of what you want to do right now. Move. Let your body move. Wiggle around. Dance. Act silly. Say, make weird noises. My kiddo and I, that's how we spent our morning. And just move your body. I found myself moving stuff down, physically pushing it through my arm and down. Push it down. Let it go. Dance. Be angry, be happy, be sad, be what you are in that moment. And it doesn't matter why. Doesn't matter why. And this will really help. I know it sounds really silly, and it does. It feels silly. It feels silly. Doing it with a kid really helps. Or, doing it in a place that you don't have to worry about anybody's catching you, whatever. Do whatever you need to do to make it okay for you to do it. If you can do it, please allow yourself to do it. And by the way, it warms you up to wiggle around. So it's also helpful in that way. So good to see everybody here. Welcome, all of you. We also have a Infrared Riding Hood. I'm working on some video ideas to help stop division and help people. Good things are coming. That's awesome. I'm really happy to hear that. Thank you for using your creation to assist others. There's a lot of us are being given downloads, and that's part of it. The disruption feeling of it needs to be shared. It does feel like it's like, oh, this is just for me. But you know what? A lot of people are getting the same thing, and many of us have been conditioned to not trust our inner self, to trust our inner knowing. And so to have somebody for a while, at the first part especially, validate you as experiences come through, it makes it easier to learn to trust yourself. It does. And then you no longer need your training wheels, and validation slowly fades. And then, for me anyway, that's been my experience, is that now I just jump on and say, this is what I'm feeling. Y'all are feeling it too. I'm sure of it, and so just express it. We are creators. We're the grand creators. In fact, I just was handed this unclassified document from 1979, the year I was born, about this very thing that I think is awesome, that they studied so thoroughly in this way of how we create our reality. I love how Sharmi says creality, because we create the reality before us, and it's really it's a thing. And the fact that they're saying it too, and they've been saying it since I was born, dude, come on, right? Leona, certainly bizarre energies lately. My understanding is that a lot of trauma and hurt is being purged from our physical / etheric bodies. Disorientation is happening for sure. Yes, exactly. This is all this. It's this trauma, and it's not just trauma from this lifetime. It's not just trauma from this life cycle, or even a life cycle perhaps that you were even in. It's hard to explain exactly, but a lot of this stuff we're getting from other places, other timelines, as we're closing these doors. What happened, just so you guys know, what happened on January 11th, so it was Thursday, is we closed a lot of doors. What it looked like, when you pulled out, it looked like us finishing going through a black hole, which is a portal. It's a door. It's a door. My kiddo says that we went to the right universe. She's been telling us this was going to happen for some time. And when I got I got the download in meditation, and she woke up from a dream where she was told by her guides this was occurring. I turned on YouTube to grab some morning music while I made her some breakfast. And the first thing that was on my feed was, there's a big black hole next to us. This is a few months ago. There's a big black hole next to us, and it just turned to face us. And that was my validation, and I've moved on from there since. So we've just moved through to a new frequency, and we're kind of pulling the strands as we move through, is kind of what it is. And so thank you, Angie. I love you. Sun 243. Hi, Pamela. Native American plant was with edible roots info I sent to your email. Okay, cool. Thank you. Oh, hi, Fanya. Good to see you. Some are saying the 15th of January is a big deal. Do you feel that, Mila? Love you. Oh, I love you. Thank you, Wendy. So a lot of people are getting this because of what happened on Thursday. So technically, yes. We first felt it, and then we feel the ripple, and then we feel the completion. And so this aspect of that is in completion on the 14th is actually what I've been given. And so the 15th would make sense too, because when spirit points out a date, usually it's like a week, and like that day in the middle is like the peak one. So yes, I am getting that. It's like Trina says here, Happy New Year. So Happy New Year on the 14th. Technically, today's the 14th. That's funny. Happy New Year. If you go back and you follow the calendar and figure out how things fit before they change the calendar all those different times, officially the 14th is it works out where the 14th of January is truly the 1st of January. And then you can read into it even more and see that there's actually the new year was celebrated in the spring, and that there's controversy, or not even controversy, but different people have different answers of when the first day of spring is, and that changes based on the moon and all this stuff, because that was how it was followed before with the 13th month calendar. Fun fact, also the Mayan calendar ending, to start the new, it actually, instead of December 2012, it was June 2020. If you go back and you follow how the calendar was before all the calendar changes happened, and what was happening June 2020, June 20th, 2020, that was the solar eclipse over the African continent. That was that we were all in lockdown. That was the biggest part of lockdown, really the beginning of it, I guess. There was just all this stuff going on. There were locusts that went to different parts of the world, and there was just a lot of stuff that happened in starting this new space. And so the past 4 years have really been us moving into this place. All things in spirit are gradual, and so it does take its time to get to the resolution or the end result of that. So Jessica, Mila, hello. Ooh, grabbing water now with salt. Yes, that's another point. Thank you for bringing up the salt. Salt, more and more, our bodies are needing a lot of salt. It's crazy. I've been getting looks. Because we have this grinder that I use with Himalayan pink salt, and like I'll just grind. And it's like they're looking at me like, you're gonna keep putting salt? Are you gonna eat that? And like putting a little bit of salt underneath your tongue before you drink the water will assist in hydration. It really does. Also, oh goodness, I already forgot. it's not called Egyptian salt. Someone told me what it's called. There's another salt that's like a new thing that I actually haven't found yet because I keep forgetting what it's called. So anyway, there's another kind of salt that's helping people out. Leona says, I feel we are guided to focus on our health at this time and nurturing. Nurturing is exactly the word that I've been looking for to explain this. Yeah, this self-nurturing is really important. See, for the longest time, male, female, whatever your embodiment, we've been operating in the divine masculine. We have. We're all lopsided, and we had been lopsided in some way, and so we've been missing this element of nurturing, of mothering self, of taking, of loving self unconditionally. The magic of mom's kiss on an injury, just that comforting, knowing that she knows everything about you. She knows when you got sent home for kindergarten because you peed your pants, and she loves you anyway. Whatever. All of these different things have happened and are part of you, and you participated in, and it doesn't matter because the divine mother, the mother, loves you for all of it, not in spite of, because of all of it. That's the word that we add in there to kind of turn it to masculine again. There's no spite, there's no in spite. She loves you completely, and she's part of you, and she's in you. She is this. She is here. And along with her is also the Christ consciousness. Along with the Christ consciousness and divine mother is divine father. And any one of those missing is an incomplete being, is an unbalanced being. And when we're unbalanced, we kind of wobble around and we do some crazy stuff, right? So it really, allowing yourself to connect with this divine mother, allowing yourself to go as deep as you can into meditation right now, especially, will really help you. She's trying to speak to all of you. 111 people here. She's trying to speak to all of you. I've been really getting this a lot, where I don't know how to tell everybody I don't want to tell anybody to do anything. But my guidance has been to strongly suggest this deep meditation place, opening yourself and inviting her, because she's there. She just, we've taught ourselves to not let her speak because of this low self-worth talk, because of whatever it is that comes in and kind of intercepts this experience that you normally get to have naturally. So allowing yourself to accept divine mother. And divine mother expresses self through many different ways. Divine mother is Gaia. Divine mother is Mother Mary. Divine mother are these grandmothers. Divine mother is a lot of different personifications that come through. What is she truly? She's love. She's love. Warts and all of who you are is perfect. And allowing yourself to embrace that and to be okay with that, rather than doing the, but I'm this, or but I did that. You're kick-ass. Allow yourself to be that. You don't have to be any other kind of way. Path 88 has a question. Been looking through a very thin layer of smoke and seeing steam. Did this happen as your perception changed? Yeah, this is exactly what I saw. Exactly. It does look like, yeah, it does look like foggy stuff. And then as you see through it, it's not even seeing through it. What that is the in-between. And so allowing yourself to, instead of letting logic go, oh, but this is supposed to be like this. Everybody does that. You look at something, you're like, well, what did I just see? And then you double take, and then you look at it close, and then you're like, oh, no, it is the thing that I thought it was. We just made it go back to what we had been teaching ourselves to do for all that time. And so, it's okay. It's okay if you do that. Allowing yourself to then go back and embrace it a little bit more. Allow yourself to just let whatever comes through to be. Deciding something about it, using the brain, the logic, the conditioning is what stops some of these things. So, hey, Elsa's here. Hello, Spin Beings. Cricket, meaning no reply, no reaction. Oh, wait, hold on. I think that we missed something. You had said something else up here. Let's see. So wavy, right? Like a river. Yeah, like a river, dude. Like a river. And it's the energy. That's what energy looks like, dude. It's really cool. It's really neat. Yes, that empty out feeling, hearing crickets. Yeah, okay, that's where the crickets came from. Yeah, cricket means no reply, no reaction. Cricket energies finds way home. Thank you, Elsa, for sharing that. We are home. We are home. It's just now allowing yourself. It's like we're waking from a dream. It's what we're doing. Is we're basically waking from a dream. This reality, this stuff is a dream. It's a manifestation. It's a creation of this place. And so allowing yourself just to be in your home, to be home, and to whatever it is that's around you, to be what it is, we find ourselves in a much more amazing world than we think we are in. A much easier world. Also, it's all things are with ease. It's beautiful. So thank you so much for your comments there, Elsa. I lost my. Oh, I love you too. We love you. I love you. Well, she had said something over here. There's something really cool. I love the way that my name is this new name. This is the name that I was told that I was given. Um, so my name has been Pamela, and I've never resonated with my name. And when I met, so I went into the forest, into the place of the water, and I didn't even tell my kiddo I was walking away. I was like, I'm going outside, and then I just, and it was fine though. But there's people here and stuff. But I found myself approaching this place, the water place, and in this water place there were energies waiting for me, and I'm calling them the grandmothers and the grandfathers because they were ancient wise ones, and there were many of them. They all have this. They were these Native American individuals in full dress and really beautiful energies. But there's a whole experience that happened. They showed me I had healed the father wound and completely to the degree that needed to be done anyhow. And so I could I could leave behind the paw in my name. And because they started to call me Mila, and I was like, wow, that's the only name I've ever been called that I feel like it's my name. And so if you all want to keep calling me Pamela, I'm not offended or anything like that. But I have found that name that's the name that is me. That's my name. That's really my name. It's really cool. So it's kind of fun. Um, and for Red Riding Hood, hey Pamela, I've just slept for that long. I woke up in the dark at 6 p.m. Laugh out loud. I don't even care because it's my job. It's my job to look after myself right now. Yes, it is your job. That's a good way of saying it. Or it's what we're tasked with doing right now. Um, like that's your responsibility. Is you. We often assume that all others are our responsibility, and when you really get down to it, all others on the outside of us are a manifestation of ourselves. We call each other to ourselves. And when you go even farther and you realize we're all the same person, it's hard to really wrap our mind around some of this quantum stuff, but it's really a thing. So let's see who we got here. Hello, Suzette. Hi from Oz. Relate to all that's spoken. Really appreciate being part of this community. Thank you so much for being part of this community. I love your name. Thistle weight. Thistle. I don't think I said it right because there's a thistle weight. I like that. That's really cool. Thank you for speaking up. Yeah, Path 88, break it all. They are false anchors anyway. All these things are false anchors. The first step I found the need to do is to purge all physical, material belongings that I really didn't need. And I was given, here's your 3 suitcases. I had actually ordered more suitcases, and I received as many as I was meant to have. And so The rest of it needed to go other places. This for me was my personal first step into this removal of false anchoring. A lot of people that same period of time, or even still having happened, that have had like storage units full of things, of belongings that maybe even forgot what they were in there. All of a sudden, these things, something was happening on the outside that was causing them to lose this container full of belongings that they're not sure or whatever. And there were tragedy, or there were fires and things like that as well. A lot of things like this was occurring in order for us to purge these anchors, these false anchors. A false anchor is something that keeps you fixed in place. And we're not meant to be fixed in place. And we're not talking about in a physical way exactly, but that also is true. Being fixed at a single point prevents growth, movement, and growth and movement still happens, but then it gets distorted. It looks energetically, then it looks like they're bent or warped, melted even. It kind of has this weird, like, kind of way and their experience, energetically speaking. And so as we remove these false anchors, we also find that they go much deeper than simply getting rid of, maybe a collection of albums or books. You find that instead there's also like these associations, titles, labels that we've put on ourselves as self-identifiers. Who are you? And people will often say, well, I'm a mom, I'm a neighbor, I'm a daughter, I'm a sister, I'm a, and we're not really any of those things. We're not. What we are, we're creators. We're creators of the reality that we exist within. And as we allow ourselves to create in a more fluid way, we find that this creation happens without really much effort at all. It's good to see you, Charmin. I'm glad to see you here. Hello. I skipped through a whole bunch of comments, and so I'm going to try to catch back up somewhere. Hello, Patriot here. I'll grab you. Hello, Pamela. I'm feeling and hearing something big is going to happen energetically overnight, and tomorrow we will see something amazing. Do you have any feelings on this? I think that is happening overnight. Everyone's way or experience in this reality is different. For me, in my experience, all things have been gradual. Gradual is kind of, you can use, there's a lot of different ways to understand that word. We've been gradually doing this since I started to see it start to happen in 1983. The awakening started in 1983. And so, in what I saw, that doesn't mean that it wasn't happening before that. And that also means that doesn't mean that everyone knew or experienced it while it was starting to happen. The gradual part that I'm about to address, though, is since 2020. 2020 was a mark point, a landmark, a place to point where things have slowly started to shift and have accelerated ever since. What's going to happen in the next 24 hours? What's happening right now is we are having all of this ancient truth that's been unhidden. That's what they call it. I got that download when I was meeting up with Elsa on a live we did probably a year ago now. Goodness, time is so weird. And that these things have always been available for us to access. It's simply that they were put on a shelf that we weren't tall enough to reach, perhaps, and that now, as we are aligning our bodies, our physical form in a way that we can accept and also experience the stuff that's coming through more, then it will start to become more and more rapid. That's why so many of us have been going through what we've been calling the purge. Purge doesn't only mean that your body's purging, that, we were having that acne stuff that was just all weird places. It wasn't really acne. It was like blisters almost, kind of, but just weird. Your body was pushing stuff out. Lots of like extra bathroom trips. Some people, I know there was a big thing about what to do with hemorrhoids and stuff, because there was a lot of people going to the bathroom a lot. weird things with body weight, like gaining weight, losing weight, finding this equilibrium as our body was purging these things. And then also these emotional purging, the purging of uh what we want to believe or what we think we have to believe about what's before us in our world, being in a place where we think that we're trapped and forced to stay in the lifestyle we had been in when that wasn't true at all. We just feel like we're meant to be in that space. And slowly, as we start to move out of this, then we're able to be in more alignment physically to accept the frequencies that come in. This is an interesting part, is that all of these energies that come in and that we see in front of us, we talk about them as angels, we talk about them as ETs, we talk about them, and we use whatever identifiers that feel correct for us in those moments. They're coming through you. They're coming through you, and they can only come through you when you're in your centered place. And in order to be centered, we also need to balance our body. This includes what we're eating and what we're not eating. And no one's going to be perfect. Perfect, again, is a false label. There's no perfection. It's correct for you in the moment that you're in. And so if your body's asking you to change, for instance, I went very long time without eating any kind of meat. And then all of a sudden, I started to notice that here and there, my body did want some meat, specific kinds, and only specific moments. And I'm still finding that to be true. However, what hasn't changed is that I've had an uptick in need for fluid, in particular water. We've been recently called a handful of times water snobs because we also are very aware of the cleanliness of the water that we ingest. You can tell, I can tell, my body feels ill if it's not clean water, and clean to the degree that I need to. Something else, by the way, before I forget to mention this, we definitely can change what's before us. So let's say I always do this. So I'm just going to take this water. This is some water that I'll drink, and I'll talk to this water. I'm one of those people that I always open the lid. Like it has to. I don't know. It doesn't have to be open, but I like to be in interaction with the water, and I'll talk to the water. I'll say, "I love you. Thank you for helping me. Thank you for." What am I looking for from the water right now? It's 1, 2, 3 people here. What do I want the water to do for me? The water doesn't always know what you want from it. So all it needs is some instruction. It's like giving a child a tool case and say, here you go. Well, what do you want them to do? Well, thank you for cleaning my body of things that do not serve me. Thank you for bringing the light code into my system. Thank you for helping me to purge the things that don't serve me. Thank you for I'm not going to drink this water right now, so it's not in my head, but whatever it is that it is. Food too, by the way, before I forget, food. This is how we bless food. This is why people do it. And I find that I'll always have my hands up when I start, and I'll accept light into my hands, and then I'll say thank you to the food, and I'll kind of push it into the food. And I'm noticing while I'm doing this, and I'll talk to the food. Thank you for your service. Thank you for nourishing me, and I release you. And as I'm releasing, and I'm feeling, I can actually feel tingling. I can feel tingling, and this isn't like hot food. It's not like I'm burning myself. There's an energetic sensation, and we say, thank you. I release you. And this stuff that was in the food does actually go. It goes, and then I put in some more light and some more love, and it's a new kind of thing. Why is the food like that? This isn't somebody doing anything against you. In my opinion, it's not like, there may be 1 or 2 people that are just having a, whatever. However, most of the most cases, it's somebody handling the food was having a crap day. Their boss just yelled at them. They had to sleep on the couch because their wife was doing something, or, there's a lot of different And if that person's not in a good place, when they touch and interact with your food in a factory, store, food preparation center kind of situation, that energy gets put on there just as much as the love does. And so all we're doing is releasing this. Like if you are purchasing food that has likely been handled by multiple people, that's multiple situations and energies that have been that have interacted with this food and changed it in some way. So we're just releasing that stuff because we don't want to eat that. I remember in the beginning when I was still eating meat really regularly, my words were, I release the fear, because there's fear that's stored inside the meat. The experience of the animal right before it passed, this type of thing. There's just a lot of really awesome things that you can do. So to go back to your question, Patriot Hero, before I move on, we are in this place. Allowing yourself to be in alignment with your own form will assist you more and more. What I've gotten, and I'm still getting, is that no one is meant to be shocked. No one is meant to be in a place of startlement or in a place of unpleasantness. And so that's why there's a gradual nature. It's true for beings as well. Beings that come in and interact with us you don't just one day look over and they're all on your couches, drinking your coffee and chewing on your food, like they're not ding dong, take out, and then let's hang out. It's a slow process. It's a slow process. They'll come in over time so we can become accustomed to their energy and their frequency. Most of you, I would say all of you. The answer is all of you. All of you are already getting this. You're already getting some of these individuals coming in. It's just that you're getting the energy of them. You're not getting the visual experience of them, and to slowly get you to understand that they're truly to assist us. They're not coming in to cause any kind of problems for you. They're not here to cause alarm. I kind of want that on a global way, only just a little bit, but that's just my Milaness of let's have the world go, oh my goodness, it's real. That's not how it works, because it's disadvantageous to everybody else. When someone is shocked, then they're like, and they go into a place of fear. That's the opposite of what they want. They're not trying to get anybody to be scared. They're just trying to help everybody. So that's how it works. So yeah, we're going to be getting it more and more and more. Serge says, I'm sorry, I can't remember the correct pronunciation for this name. So I'm going to say it the American way, Serge. Sergi, I can't remember. And yes, you are not crazy. That's right. We're not crazy. And we're all doing this at the same time, simultaneously, at all points of the planet. All beings on the couch. Yeah, I know, dude. But you think about it, movie night, hey, where's the popcorn? Right. And so we're finding this, expectation that it's just going to be you're going to one day, the world is more populated. It's a slow thing. That's why they've been slowly showing their craft. That's why the disclosure that happened in 2020, they're look, here, these are UFOs from 5 years ago. The reason they showed the ones from 5 years ago was to say, and no one died. You guys are good. Everybody's happy. Everybody's safe. They're not here to harvest your brains like Hollywood's been saying. That's why it was done that way. And it's all meant to be gradual. And oh man, I was irritated though. I was like, no one's even noticing they're talking about this. They're still doing it. There's still a lot of disclosure that's been going on that no one's really, it seems like everybody's like, yeah, I know. What? You know what? When I was a teenager, I was put into a mental institution for weeks because I was talking about the Pleiadians and how they were teaching me how to quantum heal with transmutation and all this stuff. And now they're like, oh yeah, it's regular. So, there's part of our identity, my identity, that was I kind of almost wanted some kind of startlement to just see, look, it's real. But yeah, it's real. Everybody knows it's real, and it doesn't need to be shocking. So yeah, popcorn with the beings. Yeah, yeah. Oh, thank you, Fleur de Lis. That is so generous of you. Oh, I love that too. 1144, 144,000. This number is everywhere right now. Thank you so much. You are blessed, and as are you. This is such a beautiful experience to be a part of. We're all full on in it right now, guys. And so, just like Patriot Hero had mentioned, Trina had mentioned, there's a few people, I didn't catch every comment, but a lot of people were talking about this window. We really are here. We really are in this moment. And so we're not going to wake up and go, wow, we live in a whole different world. It's instead, we're going to wake up and say, I feel a little bit more balanced today. Carmen, first and last. Carmen, you're always first in my heart, buddy. He's my brother, and I just love him. I've been missing you. I'm so glad you're coming back around again. So that, like we're going to wake up and feel a little bit more balanced, a little bit more happy. We're going to wake up and feel and notice that it's easier to do our day, and then there's going to be also moments that don't feel like it's easy to do, because there are still, hold on. My kiddo was coughing, so I just wanted to be sure she was all right. Speaking of popcorn, I was like, oh, anyway, and there'll be those moments that those things pop up, because they're little hairs, they're little things that we still haven't resolved, we still haven't seen, we still haven't released, and when these things come up, they come up, not to hurt us, not to force some kind of ill frequency on you. It's because that you are most stable in that moment, and you are being given the most light in that moment, the amount of light needed to assist you in the healing of this thing, and then this thing, and then this thing. And the nature of the way things work is we deal with the biggest things first. The most obvious and biggest things overshadow everything else. And so often we don't even notice that there are other layers to do. And so there's this other part where now we're in this place where we've healed so much of it that we also find that we're like, wait a minute, didn't I already do this? Why am I having to heal this again? Well, it's a deeper layer of it. It's like going into the root system of it. Instead of simply just pulling the plant up, there's also this root, and then this root, and then there's the root ball. I don't know how many of you are gardeners, and there's these parts that are still being addressed and resolved. And so it's not some type of torment. It's because you can. It's because you're able. And any of you who are feeling alone and feeling like you need to reach out, please join our Telegram group. I've been noticing there's not been a lot of a lot of conversation going on in that group. But join and say something. I'll pop in. I'll join in too. There's a lot happening, and to know that you're not alone. There's like 430 or something like that individuals in this Telegram group. That's in the description of this video as well. Come in and chat. I'm not a big Facebooker, so anybody who messages me on Facebook, I likely won't respond. It's not personal. I do that with everybody. I equally don't answer. I do on Telegram though. I get behind. I'll be straight up, but I do answer at some point most of the time, especially if you send me multiple messages. So anyway, connect, reach out, and see that you're not alone. There are a lot of us out here. Vegan Vixen, like E.T. when he was looking in the fridge. I know, exactly like that. It's like, oh, dude, he just drank up all my beer, right? Yeah, pop, pop, pop. Because Elsa said eating all the popcorn will be more playful, right? Yeah, I really do see it like this popcorn thing. And that's what's happening right now, energetically speaking, is they're all around and they're just kind of like shooting the breeze while they're waiting for, you to see them. It's kind of how I feel it. It's like, they're just like, hey, So Paul, what you been up to? I don't know, Carl. And just kind of having their own thing going on. Um, and so they're here and they're ready to assist us, and they do assist us whether or not you are able to perceive them, to able to see and understand that they're present. It's just a different kind of experience when you are aware of their presence, that you know that they're there, that you can see them and interact with them in a way. Something that's kind of fun is telekinesis is coming on for a lot of people, and I wanted to tell you about that really quick before I forget, because it looks cool. It looks really cool. So I see energy, and people always say, like telekinesis is what that is you're moving an object without touching it, but you're actually touching it. Turns out you are touching it. We have this energy bubble glob, I would say, because it's not perfectly spherical or anything. Um, and then you can like create an appendage and kind of like reach out like we do to each other. Like you notice you're interacting with somebody and you're like, oh, I can feel them kind of connecting with me. It looks kind of like that. And when someone's first figuring out how to move their energetic arms, it's like bumping stuff over, and it's kind of cool. Anyway, so that's something that a lot of people are talking about, by the way. So it's coming online. I don't think I actually read that one. That's okay, Pamela. You can call me anything. It's unconditional love. Thank you so much. Sergey. I can't remember. I'm going to have to look that up because that does matter to me. Okay, I'm sorry. I had clicked on somebody and I didn't answer. Oh, here we go. It was Path 88. It's okay, Mila. You're an OG to snooze button star seeds like me. Thanks. Yeah, there's a lot of energies or people that have been reaching out that I'm not that great with keeping up on. I really do mean to. I really do. I love you all so much, and I just, it's really cool. It's really cool to see everybody coming through here and reaching out. And if you do find that you are having, oh, hey, thank you so much, Serge, thank you, Fleur de Lis. If you do find that you're trying to connect with me and you're having a struggle, please just write me another message, and then it'll pop it back to the top again in the Telegram group. The internet connectivity, Dan says that the internet connectivity has brought to us to a whole new level of discernment and tapping into what is truth and what is misinformation. It puts the onus on us personally. I like this. It's true. It's true. There's a lot of outages and stuff that people have been reporting, or technology misbehaving, I guess is another way of saying it. And there's messages into that. Like I find that happens in real life with other things, like a stream of thought as I'm speaking, and then I get distracted. I distract myself, really, is what happens. I'm like, oh, let me explain that thing. And then the download stops and then it just doesn't come back. That's usually like, okay, that doesn't need to continue. I don't need to continue that thought stream. Excuse me. Same is true for other things. Like if the power went out right now, well, I guess I've been going an hour, so I wouldn't feel so bad about it. But if it's went out right when it was time to start or right after it started, I wouldn't be stressed out. I know I would think, there are people who would like to be on this show and have this interaction right now. And I would send you all love, but there wouldn't be anything I can do about it. Same is true for these other kinds of things. And so allowing ourselves to interpret the energy as it comes in, in the way that makes heart sense, not brain sense, but heart sense, then it eliminates the struggle part, because none of this is meant to be a struggle. It's just we can choose to be in the place of struggle, or we can, grab it by the horns or whatever it is that's happening and go. Where are we right now? What is the most useful thing to do right now? I guess is the better way to say it. Is it's self-care, it's self-love, it's releasing all these things that are truly not self, are truly not you, and a lot of these things that we've picked up, what it looks like energetically is like layers of mud. a kid goes out and plays and they jump to the sprinklers and they're soaking wet, and now they're going to go play in the dirt, and now they're going to go, you know what I mean? And after a while, that child doesn't realize that the reason that it's harder to run is because they're completely covered in this thick layer of mud. And then as they move each step, some of that comes off and they're less and less encumbered. And then if they sit and they just be upset and want somebody to solve the problem for them, but it doesn't do anything. It doesn't go anywhere. But as we play, as we jump, as we participate in the world that we're in, and in a playful way, it sloughs off. It sloughs off. And so what we're doing right now in a very real way is we're being asked to wiggle, move your body, play, dance. You know what? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who's looking. It doesn't matter who isn't. I went through a window of time over the past couple of months where all of a sudden I didn't want to dance in front of people because I was getting undesirable sexual attention from a large group of individuals. I don't care anymore. Like I can say no pretty well, and so just, no, thank you. And so let yourself dance, let yourself wiggle, even if you can't. I've been helping other individuals over the years, dancing while laying down. That you can do this. If your body won't dance in the way that is the traditional dancing, wiggle laying down, dance laying down. That was just 1 1 1 1 1. Just as I looked up, that was fun. And chair dancing. Chair dancing, almost everybody does chair dancing, especially if you're as white as me. You know what I mean? And that's not meant as any kind of like slur. It's just I have I'm aware of myself and I'm not the best dancer and I don't care. Allow yourself to dance. If dancing doesn't work for you, qigong. If qigong doesn't work for you, there's a variety of different kinds of yoga. There's hot yoga that people have been going on about. There's work. And work meaning like going out and chopping wood is fun. It's fun, and like that's something else that gets your body wiggling. What's another thing? Fluids, letting yourself drink the water that your body's asking you to drink. And there's so much happening right now with the solar flares coming that are going to be coming in really soon. We're already getting the energy of it. I felt it. That's why I looked it up. I felt it. And it's not even left the sun, and I'm feeling it. And there's 13 all in the same direction, face of the sun, 13 solar flares. It's like, wow. Speaking of popcorn, when they leave, pop, 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 we're going to be getting a lot of this energy coming in. And I would not be surprised if that happened in the next 24 hours, where those solar flares came in. I'm also anticipating something a little bit larger to occur in the spring, particularly around the solar eclipse. There's a lot of stuff happening right now. And so this time that we're in right now is preparation of your physical form for what's coming in. Take care of yourself. Let yourself love yourself. Nurturing self, that was brought up in the beginning of this call. The self-nurturing, allowing the divine mother to move through and be of you. You are also the divine mother. You are also this beautiful, nurturing, loving, unconditionally loving individual. You also have the divine father. You also have this Christ consciousness. What's the divine father? Divine father reminds you how safe and protected you are, that you're okay, that you can be you completely without any kind of unpleasant consequence. And in fact, you're being encouraged and asked to be just that. The frequency of love is known to cause or to be a part of amazing healing, and they can measure Science can measure the frequency of love being exuded from an individual, coming off of an individual. When a person is existing or being within their own authenticity, that is amplified by 400. Whoever you really are, allow you to be and to come through. All of these labels, all of these masks, all of these things that we've been taught that help us to exist in this world that we're in, are actually counterproductive. So who are you? Often I don't know until I'm in the moment that I'm in. Right now, I'm the person sitting in front of a computer talking to so many beautiful souls and connecting, and letting whatever's coming through come through. Once I hang up from this call, then I'm going to be in the other room, and I'm going to be hanging out with a 9-year-old and an 11-year-old, and we're going to be doing something different, and I'll be the me in that moment. It doesn't have to have a reason. It just is. All things just are, so this has been thank you so much, Serge. Yes, amen. Holy One love. Yes, we are really here. We really are, and a lot of you already know that and are already feeling it. So as you are allowing yourself to be in this frequency and allowing yourself to be in your truth, you will find out who that is. And just please, if you will allow yourself to not need to say, okay, well, that's who I am then, because that might not be true in 5 minutes. You are who you are in the moment that you're in, and it just is. All things just are. So, spiritual detox, no more Santa Claus lie, no more lie, no. Yeah, exactly, Serge. We have built up a storyline around things that are part of a disassociation from reality. What reality really is? What is reality? It is the moment that you're in and what you're creating in front of you. And so what are we going to create today? Truth, the truth of the moment. I know that when I am in my space and when I can I can be who and where and however I want, I'm in a place of play. I'm in a place of love. And I truly 100% want for all of you, all those around me to also get to enjoy and to be in joy. And how can we do that? By just being you, being in play, and wiggling that stuff out. Let yourself move. That's also why we have been having this weird weight thing. A lot of you have also resonate with this, where you've dropped weight and then gained weight and dropped weight and gained weight, or maybe just dropped it, or maybe just gained it. There's stuff going on. What they're showing is that not only is water a place where memory is stored, but the fat in our bodies, it's storing a lot of these memories. And so the fluctuation in weight has been in order to let those things come up so they can be healed through, and so old layers of fat. And this isn't to say someone's overly large. It's just we all have fat on our body, in our body. This is a memory bank place that needs to also move. And that's why. So that's why our weight's been changing so much. I love all of you so much. And if I could stay longer, I would. I really love the energy of you all. It's been so much fun to participate and be in your frequency today. Thank you all for joining me and for being on this journey. I'll be back on again sooner than I typically am. I'll come back on and probably on Wednesday, I think. I can't remember what I decided, but there's definitely a need for us to reach back out again on the other side of this little window of this particular frequency. It's like we're being rained on with this frequency code. And so once everybody gets, it absorbs or soaks in enough, then it'll be easier to have conversation, to understand, and then new questions and need for answers will then arise. And so I'll be back in a very, very soon, to have another conversation with y'all. And yeah, thank you, Trina. Stay warm, everybody. We're having some really amazing Arctic wind. Those of you who didn't hear that part, there was a destabilization that they showed me back in February of this big. It looked like a bowl, an energy bowl, like you would put popcorn in, big can of popcorn, over the Arctic, and that it in the vision it destabilized, and all of the wind came. That it was 40 years. They said 4 decades, 40 years of ancient air was to be released, and with it code. Um, what's fascinating, or in for me in my own little world, is 40 years ago was when I had my first near death experience. Well, almost 40 years. In 2 months, it'll have been 40 years, and that was when I noticed the awakening was just starting, at least in my perception and experience of it. And so all of this has been up there, contained, this ancient wind, this ancient knowledge, this ancient frequency. And what has just happened was just exactly what they showed me to look for in the landmark or the mile marker of where we are. Was that what happened was then it separated and became what they call two vortexes, and one of them came down and went down to the lower continent areas, and so through Canada and through the Americas, and from the visions I got, it snowed in Texas, and that was a year ago. So let's see if that happens. I don't think anybody in Texas wants to hear that, but there you go. So anyway, I love all of you so much. Um, yeah, thank you for saying that, Macy. Please, if you would, that really does help the algorithm and let this message get out to more people. But if you don't want to, you don't have to. It's all good. I love you just the same. I love all of you. Thank you so much for being here. And I will check back in. I'll be back in just in as soon as I can. And take care of yourself. You are loved. You are beautiful. And you are more than worth it. Be at play. Aho blessings.